Hey, welcome to the weekly wrap up. Now, before we even look at charts, I have the best indicator that tells me whether we're near the bottom or whether we're not, and that's crypto X now, not Twitter anymore. But when all the boys start bitching about each other and they start complaining, and you did this and you did that, and I got this because you didn't do that, and I'm now poor because I followed your signals. And it's like, well, we're near the bottom. We're literally near the bottom. And that's the best indicator there is, because they're at the point where they're like, oh my God, it's so stressful here. And I'm just going to cast blame onto everyone else before I take accountability for myself, because that's how the real world works. And it's like, when they start to take accountability and they stop blaming everyone else, they might be successful. So thank you to all those watching here, because you guys are all taking accountability and becoming successful and owning your mistakes and learning from them. So let us get into, I'm going to share my screen, some crypto and see where we're going here this week. And don't forget, we are brought to you by WeX. You can join with the code there on the screen, or if you'd like free scalp signals, head to gettingstartedincrypto.com, click on the free scalp signals, join WeX, fill out our form, and you'll get the signals. That easy. So let's jump into some crypto. Now, BTC. So this is the bane of everyone's existence at the moment. Has it topped? Was 1,064 days the top again, or are we still in this pattern where we're still climbing sort of down, sideways, up, everywhere? So at the moment, we are still in a corrective pattern. We haven't finished that. This is, which I'm going to put a fib on, potentially a corrective wave. We've done a 1-to-1, which was just at the pivot level at this point. Our 1.236 is sitting at the 200 MA. I saw a couple of other traders today say, oh, I don't care about the 200 MA. It's like, okay, don't care about it, but it is a major support region. It's also got a major support region at this point. This is a 3-day chart, by the way, at this point, which goes back to the beginning of this run. So that's another support region. The other support region I want you guys to take note of is the 1.618, which is 78,031. So that area is also the long-term resistance, which goes right back to the 26th of March, 2021. So that is here. So that's another potential, and it fits with fibs, it fits with all the levels. So we've got this support here, which possibly we may get a bounce if that happens, if it drops that low. So it might sort of bounce a little bit here, come back down, sit around this region, come up here, even poke its head through, and then come back down. That's another potential. So we've got so many potentials that can be happening right now for BTC, so many patterns. It's a corrective pattern. Corrective pattern have about 30 different patterns, unfortunately, with Elliott Wave. There's no one size fits all. What we can look at, though, that show us we're nearing the bottom is not just my crypto Twitter is getting really bitchy amongst the men. It's like, and they're all having a meltdown. That's usually a really good indicator, a really strong indicator. We also hit 10 yesterday on extreme fear. We're sitting at 14 now. Clearly, I've been shopping for shoes for my daughter for Christmas. She doesn't watch this, so it's okay. So yeah, so extreme fear yesterday, sitting at 14 now. So that's another good indicator. We're coming to some sort of bottom. It can't sit on the bottom forever. It never does. But never say never, obviously. So we could have one more, like, just absolute push out of this, like, just to, like, flatten all the people that have got entered longs recently, or sort of over leveraged in those regions, listening to everyone going, buy the dip, buy the dip of the dip, buy the dip of the dip of the dip, buy the dip. So that's kind of happening at the moment. We see the same people telling you to buy the dip 50,000 times. It's like, sit on your hands, take some scalps, don't do much, wait for a reversal sign. And we should have some of those soon. So we go to the daily. And again, we're not going to know if this is the top until it was the actual top and we start breaking down pivots. And I've been telling you that, guys, that for ages. It just doesn't work where you just go, oh, this area here is the top. No, that's not how it works. Tops and bottoms are found in hindsight. They don't matter. They literally don't matter. What matters is where you put a stop loss, where you take some profit, where you trade. If you're trading, that's how you do it. If you're not trading, you're hodling. Literally, it doesn't matter. A top doesn't matter because you're hodling. You're going to buy some more. You're going to believe in this like Bitcoin, and you're going to go, Bitcoin's it. I'm dollar cost averaging all the way. And if you're trading, you have a clear entry and a clear exit. And you know when the market's reversing, you know when that's turning down, because you're using all your indicators, you're using your fibs, you're using all of this stuff, and you're getting outside of the market. So, and you're putting stop losses on. So this has gone down substantially. If you were long from this point, maybe you've sold by now because it's come down a fair bit. If you were long from this point, hopefully you've sold by now because you were underwater. Like, if you're long from this point, it's come way back down. If you're still holding, it's like you're now a hodler. So you need to understand where the market's going, why you're doing something. Literally, why am I doing it? Am I trying to make money? Am I believing in this? Is this a long-term investment? Because investing is very different to trading. Trading, you have clear parameters. And if you don't know what they are, head on to investing.com, or if you're getting started in crypto, head into our education pages and go through those. There's heaps of books in there as well if you scroll down. So heaps and heaps of books on Elliott Wave, books on Wyckoff, books on support and resistance, books on everything. So get in there. But looking at the daily, we're coming right down low on the RSI. We're looking quite good on that region. On the MACD, we're starting to flip up on the histogram. We're not quite there yet. We still haven't got any momentum here at the moment. We're still quite spread. So on the stock RSI, we're getting close. You know, the fear and greed is saying we're getting close. Crypto Twitter or Crypto X is saying we're getting close just by the way they are behaving. So we get that at the bottom of any sort of wave formation that's, about to bounce and wipe them all out. So, if they've been entering longs and this is really getting quite straining because they believed it was going to be holding here, we don't know. We don't know if this is the bottom yet. We haven't broken any pivots. We're not coming through in any major sort of like wow factor at the moment for BTC. Could be the top. I'm just going to keep drilling that into people so you're not over investing in this. Could be the top. We could be going down for another 18 months. 18 months is the bear cycle. like this could be happening. So if you're overly bullish, overly bearish, there isn't a definitive point at the moment where we're going, this is over, this is now bearish, that was the top. We don't know. We've still got pivots left. And until we start breaking down on these major ones, like at 74, then we're like, okay, this is a bear cycle. So that's kind of what we're looking. The other signals person in at Getting Started in Crypto, he thinks it's going to 54 at the moment. So that's a strong possibility. This is 54 at this point. So that's a strong possibility. That does mean that we are probably going to be bearish for a lot longer. I don't see that at the moment. As you know, I go by the pivots. We're still holding that one-to-one. So for me, it's still in the game. We've still got potential. And, you know, we've got a couple of emotional indicators at the moment, fear and greed, crypto X, that are telling us that we're coming into the bottom. So just have faith that that might be about to happen. These charts don't want to open today. Let's go to ETH and see if that we've got ETH. So ETH has a wave one high at 2855. So at the moment we've come back down on a one-to-one. So we could be bouncing on ETH. If this is similar to the last two bull runs, ETH ran after BTC topped. So it's holding the 100 and the 50 MAs on the weekly. It's also quite low on the stock. It hasn't flipped on the histogram on the MACD yet, but when we go down to the daily, we've crossed up on the stock. We're flipping up on the histogram, and we've got bullish divergence on the RSI. So we're not far away. So whether it's like this point here where we've hit the one-to-one at 2,870, that's our one-to-one. If not, then the 1.236 kind of breaks pattern. So we want to hold above that 2855 region. That's where we want to be holding for ETH. Now, when we go to the total market cap and we're looking, so this was a post that I was tagged in on X. So if you are watching, hang on, let me get, nothing's opening. Sorry. So this is for Blade X555. This is for you. So this is the total crypto market cap. Now there's a question about, we've lost over $1 trillion since October 10, I believe. We hit to the top here. October 4, between that week, starting October 4 to 10, we've lost $1 trillion out of the market. So it doesn't just go nowhere. It literally will be sitting there waiting, dry powder, boom, will come in. We'll be sitting at levels waiting for this to hit those levels. And then all of a sudden it starts moving again. We're kind of just holding the support on this level. We've headed down and we hit the 0.9 on the fibs if this is still an impulse. If it breaks down below 2.96, that's a bearish pivot. So this is still bullish at the moment. It's still within the ranges that we can still go up from here. You know, alts have been bleeding, BTC's bleeding, ETH is bleeding. There's your $1 trillion out of the market. So we're sitting on our hands until we know where this is going. So that's the potential of this. We've still got room. We've still got skin in the game. It's still happening. We haven't broken that 2.96 trillion pivot. So looking good at the moment. So we want it to continue to look like that. As long as it sort of sits in this region, we start seeing some positive news coming through. We start seeing positive momentum, like from larger players. And I think once the US government comes back online and we start getting some of those actual figures that they've been really suppressing, and that has been damaging not only for the crypto market, but for markets as a whole, we should start to see some momentum come in for the end of the year, provided those pivots hold. So that's my caveat here with what is going on. So pivots hold, we're still in the game. So we really want to be holding this long-term support, which was sitting at that 78,878. That's the lowest we really want to go. We can go a little bit lower because this is still like within the realm of possibility. 74K if we get a wick, that still holds this pattern as being a potential wave 3. So if you're in getting started in crypto, you would have seen this chart, and basically this just maps out the potential of what could happen if we continue up. So this sees, we could see a top, December into January, that sort of thing. It's not out of like the realm of possibility. We get a lot of good news inflowing. We get a lot of good news for governments happening, and boom, we've got like a giant green dildo candle coming in. So that's possible. That takes us up to like, there's a couple of levels here. The next resistance at this point is around 130K. So whether it's going to need a lot of like momentum to blow through that range, because that's a strong resistance. We can see that we've had a couple of tests at that point and we've pulled back. So pullbacks are just where the coin or the token regain energy or die. So I don't think Bitcoin's going to die at this point, but when you're looking at tokens, like so much money comes out of them and out of them and out of them. And then there's a point where it all turns around, or it just dies and the team gives up. So that's likely not going to happen to Bitcoin because there's so much money invested in it. We did see Michael Saylor on a life raft. So we'll see. But that's kind of where we're sitting at for BTC. So we are still in uncertain territory, but we are coming to the bottom because it's starting to get incredibly toxic out there in social media for crypto. So let's just jump to a quick ad, and then I'm going to take you through just a couple of alts that I've got. There's not a huge amount of those at the moment. They're just all looking pretty ugly, but these ones are not looking too bad. So be back in about 30 seconds. Okay, so let's jump in. So Asta, this is one that I love to hate. You would have seen me on X having a go at everyone. So we've just hit the pivot. Here we are. This is like we've come up. We're following my pattern perfectly. So at this point, it's looking really good. Now, if it can pass, it'll probably come down and retest down at this point here. Which is about 110-ish, I'd say, and then continue. So the point where it gets really interesting for Astra is at 1.49. So that's a major pivot here. And then the next pivot where we're going, okay, this might be really bullish at this point, is 1.74. Not there yet. We keep rejecting pivots. This could potentially be still a bear flag if this point doesn't pass. So what that looks like is basically we've got 1, 2, got 3, which was our CZ buy. We've got 4, and then we've got death by 1,000 stop losses. So that's the potential of the bearish pattern here. If that pivot is not passed, it could go all the way down, all the way. So, and it's basically launched close to, if this is the top of the market, could be close to the top of the market. So you will be holding that and hoping that Asta comes back next cycle if this was the top of the market. So this is why I keep putting this out there, that don't marry your coins, have a stop loss, know what you're trading in, know what you're doing, like why you're doing it, why you're buying, have a plan when you go in and keep that plan. Don't go, oh my God, I've put so much money into this coin now and I'm going to lose like 10, 20, 30%. But if you bought here and it goes to here, you're pretty much losing a lot more. So that's the thing. It's like you might want to know when to hold them. Like, think Kenny Rogers' rule of trading: know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. Like, if you followed me for a long time, that song is so important for crypto because you're all gamblers. And literally, this could keep going. So 0.9 on this, it hit the 0.86. So 0.9 is 74. At that point, if you bought higher, you're down 66%. So yeah, when I started sort of talking about this was up here when I said it's not passing those pivots, because when a coin like Asta drops into the market, it's got seed investors, it's got influencers, it's got people that invested sort of like midterm that are all selling their coins. It didn't have lockups on this. So you need to know sort of when the unlocks are, how long it's locked up, how many coins and tokens are locked so people can't sell them into the market. Investors, do they have a vesting period on this? So, you know, if it's open into the market, like, did they have 30 days vesting? Because that means that, you know, after 30 days of being in this market, so it dropped on the 19th of September, around October, we would have had around this point more investors selling off. So perhaps when CZ bought was maybe some unlocks coming in and he thought, okay, I'll pump it up a little bit so my investors can get out. There's so many scenarios that can go on here. So I keep getting told by a few people to don't bet against the cartel. I'm not betting against the cartel on this, the crypto cartel. I'm just letting you know how tokens come into the market. We saw that with what Arthur Crypto Haze did with Hyper. So I think it was Hyperliquid, and he sold out and he bought a fancy car. That's what happens. And you can't blame him for doing that. He's making money. This is how he makes money. This is how people in the market make money. And you need to know, as a little fish swimming here, that this is what they're doing. They've got a lot more money, a lot more coins, a lot more everything than you do. And they're going to sell it. They don't care. They don't know you. They don't know your situation. They don't know that you've got a newborn baby. They don't know that you've got a dying dad. They don't know, and they don't care. So the sooner you don't care and you start taking action and start taking responsibility for your trades, the sooner you'll start making money. The sooner everyone will stop like entering all this toxic bullshit and actually have a plan, because it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch. So yeah, so if Astic can pass 1.49. It's probably going to settle at about 1.1. If it settles there and doesn't keep going down at that point, then it's got a chance of still going up, because that's the support. So that's what we ideally want it to do, is to have a bounce around this region and then continue. Next one, Talcoin. So everyone keeps telling me to look at this. At the moment, it's got a pivot just above, and I'm going to move this pivot up because it broke it to this point here, 9.1. This is a daily. It's not looking bullish to me. RSI is too high. The RSI can continue sideways for a little bit, so it might go a little bit sideways, touch on that. We want it to just crack through that pivot, and that means that this correction, after it has a correction in this region, will have a continuation. So it is, some news could come in tomorrow and I could be completely wrong on that, and it might just blow through and just keep going. Coins like ZC have done that. So that's the other thing that you have to sort of understand with some of this stuff. But if you're trading this, you would have a stop loss. As far as I'm concerned, if you're a hodler, you truly believe that this is going to the moon and you've got your life savings in it probably. Now Zen is another one. So we look like we're going to get a little bit of a bounce. We'll probably get up to this 100 MA or this resistance region around 14.3. The major pivot on this one is 17.8 at the moment. I do think BTC is still playing with us, and we might have a wave down before we go up, sort of like something like that, and then hopefully a continuation higher. It could be like crazy and just go sideways, like we saw here, just filling out the pattern. And that might be its bearish pattern. It just likes to accumulate, explode. So that might be another pattern for Zen at the moment, because it does have 5 waves. It does need to fill out this correction before it heads up. So XRP is starting to get a little bit interesting. It may have one wave down, around about 1.98 might inspire a big bounce here. It still hasn't broken the pivot at 2.84, so it's kind of in limbo at the moment, as most things are. We are waiting for those figures. We're waiting for figures from the US. We're waiting for something to change. Daily on XRP, though, is starting to look bullish. We've got the histograms turned up. We've got a cross, and we've got bullish divergence. So this is going to be one to watch. So it may have one wave down to go, though. So just be careful when you're sort of averaging in to that, and know why you're getting into that one at the moment. So yeah, so I think I've growled at all you guys enough today. So just be super careful out there. Don't keep listening to influencers that keep telling you to buy the dip of the dip, buy the dip of the dip of the dip, because people like Moon Carl and those sort of big influencers, I can't think of the other one, he's got a yellow star or something, but they're affiliate marketers. They're not traders. They're affiliate marketing. They're literally signing you up to exchanges and that sort of stuff. They're not actively going in there every day doing updates for everyone. I'm not in their Telegram group, so I can't say that they do or they don't. But like saying on like buy the dip, that's just getting you guys into the hype of everything, literally. And hoping that you do. But everyone's turning so toxic against everyone at the moment. It's funny to read all the comments. So yeah, if you're bored, head to some of those big accounts and read the comments, because there's some gold ones on there at the moment. But yeah, so we are brought to you by WeX, and that is affiliate marketing. And the reason we give you free signals is because WeX pays for them. We pass it on to you. So you're not paying for our subscription. You're getting free signals from WeX. So head to gettingstartedincrypto.com and click on the free signals, fill out the form, and you'll get free signals from WeX. So yeah, so thank you guys. Stay safe in the market. And of course, if you do have any comments, questions, whatever, tag me in on X. Instagram and TikTok, you'll find more sort of quantum physics and relationship stuff, psychology, all of that sort of stuff. And of course, YouTube, you've got this, and every day inside Getting Started in Crypto. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you on all the socials.